welcome back. The Miss Grand International 2022 competition has just concluded, and guys, I cannot be more excited. The show was absolutely amazing, and I thought that we'd go over it together. I thought that obviously the production of Miss Grand International was so fantastic. The opening number showed the girls in the quintessential Miss Grand International green and gold, which I love because of course I'm South African, and if you know, you know. And I thought that those outfits were so unique. They definitely fit the Miss Grand International aesthetic and brand, which is of course grand. And unfortunately, when it was time for the girls to introduce themselves, the mic was off with Angola. I did notice throughout introductions that there were some issues with the mics not being on in time for the ladies, but nevertheless the show must go on. Ghana actually brought the extra, which of course Miss Grand International always encourages their girls to be extra, especially when it comes to the, you know, opening number, introduction, things like that. I mean, Miss Grand International is based in Thailand, and if you've ever watched Miss Grand Thailand's introductions, guys, it is Oscar worthy, honestly. Speaking of Thailand, of course Thailand got a huge warm welcome to the stage, as well as Indonesia, of course, because this year the competition was held in her home country of Indonesia. Overall, I thought that the opening number was amazing. It was exciting, and I would expect absolutely nothing less from Miss Grand International. Now, after opening numbers, they gave away some award. The 4 national costume winners were awarded, as well as the social media winner, which was of course Czech Republic. And then it was time to announce the top 20, guys. Now, of course, this is the part of the competition where I am usually girding my loins, and the very first woman into the top 20 was of course the country or power of the year. The woman who won that was Vietnam, as I suspected in my last prediction video, although there has been like a whole poll thing showing the top 2 and their standings the whole time, so it didn't really take much guesswork as to who was going to win that. Other than Vietnam, Honduras, Indonesia, Nigeria all made the top 20 as well as Denmark, United Kingdom, Cambodia, and the Philippines. Oh, shame. I felt so happy for United Kingdom, because when she was called into the top 20, she was so happy and emotional. It really was a touching moment. Other than that, Thailand, Spain, Czech Republic, and Dominican Republic all made it as well. Czech Republic, of course, was my predicted winner. And then we also had Mexico, Paraguay, Colombia, Peru, Curaçao, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Brazil. So overall, when it comes to my prediction, I got 16 out of 20, which I was so flabbergasted by, because I'm not really the most, you know, avid fan or follower of Miss Grand International. You know, they have a lot of scandals and they have yet to make a stand out of me, so I was quite surprised at how many of the contestants I got correct. I definitely did not expect Honduras, the UK, Paraguay, and especially Denmark to be making top 20. And as I suspected, if you watched my prediction, South Africa ended up not making it. I did have her as number 20 just because I had a smidgen of hope, but she did not make the top 20. Neither did Ecuador, Ghana, or Costa Rica, which I was very surprised because Costa Rica was literally my second runner-up. This woman, I thought she was amazing, but alas, she did not make top 20. Then, of course, came sportswear, which yawn. Listen, I understand that the competition was held in Indonesia this year, and you know, a lot of people in Indonesia place a lot of value in modesty, but let's be honest, the evening gowns nowadays probably show just the same amount of skin as some swimsuits. Not to mention the introduction outfits are basically yassified one-piece swimsuits. Like, But okay, moving on. The actual sportswear themselves, the actual outfits that was supposed to be sportwear really got me, because imagine doing any type of sport in this outfit. Just imagine. Unfortunately though, Mexico fell down, but I actually thought she recovered quite nicely. But then the UK came out, and she probably realized the amount of accolades and praise she had received from her national costume. Of course, she was one of the national costume winners. So she did her entire sportswear in her ballet slippers, which I thought was a unique thing to do. It's very, out of the box, and a great way to set herself apart from other contestants. When it came time to announce the top 10, I was very, very excited. Since I got so many right in the top 20, I thought maybe I would do great in top 10 as well. I was fooling myself. I didn't do really great when it came to top 10. But what was interesting to me is that we've known for a while that one woman would be voted into the top 10, but I didn't know that one woman could come from outside of the top 20. So the one woman being voted into the top 10 at the end of the day ended up being Mauritius. And that was really interesting to me because, she wasn't even in top 20. So obviously the judges from prelims didn't see her as the next Miss Grand International. So I don't know how much it helped that she was in the top 10 anyway, taking the spot of a girl who the judges did see potential in. But of course, aside from Mauritius, we had Czech Republic, Puerto Rico, Thailand, Spain, of course, Czech Republic still being my winner at this point, Indonesia, Brazil, Colombia, Cambodia, and Venezuela. So I got 5 out of 10 right when it came to the top 10, which, is not necessarily bad, but it's like 50%. I passed the test, but did I pass with flying colors? Not necessarily. After this, of course, I expected it to be evening gown, but the girls actually came out in some beautiful Indonesian designs and made anti-war speeches, because as we all know, Miss Grand International's whole thing is being anti-war and violence. That's what they stand for. That's their advocacy, which is very admirable. And I actually like that they allowed the girls to make a little speech against war. Brazil was, of course, the first to come up, and to me, her speech was pure brilliance. Brazil really showed her intelligence when it came to her anti-war speech. After Brazil came Czech Republic, and I really liked how Czech Republic humanized the situation. She also got very emotional and pointed out definite inequalities in the world. Puerto Rico came up, and she was actually born in Russia, so she's Russian by birth, and she had some words in Russian for Mr. Putin. I'm actually standing here, I'm literally filming this right after crowning moment, so I'm still not exactly sure what I was saying to Vladimir Putin. If you know, please comment it down below.
Владимир Путин, я надеюсь, что мы сможем стать строителями мостов, а не стен.
Venezuela, again, very, very, very powerful speech. I liked how she humanized the situation and focused on the actual human consequences of war, which I think should be the main focus. After this, of course, unfortunately, it was time for Miss Grand International 2021 to take her final walk. This woman is so stunning. I also thought the little speech she gave was brilliantly written. She also got very emotional when thanking her team, which was really, really touching. But what really got me, guys, was when they removed her crown and replaced it with another crown. Moments like that always get me, guys. I am the weakest person on earth when it comes to final walks. You guys know I cannot do pageants when there's final walking going on because I just break down. After this, 8 former Miss Grand Internationals got together on stage, and Mr. Nawat, of course, gave his annual speech. And only after this, it was time for evening gown. Brazil's gown hit on so many different levels. I absolutely loved Brazil's gown, and you know what I love about it? It was glamorous, but it was also dynamic, you know. It had beautiful detail, but it was detailed in a different sort of way, and I absolutely love that. It actually, keeping to the theme of war, Brazil's gown actually reminded me of war regalia, like chainmail, like not ancient, but medieval type of war regalia. I love it. I actually thought it fit the theme. Speaking of keeping to the theme, Cambodia came out in this gorgeous green and gold gown. Actually, quite a few green and gold gowns in the top 10. I suspect that the girls were trying to match the crown, probably. And then Colombia came out in her prelims gown, which we've already seen, but still glorious nonetheless. Czech Republic also came through with the green and gold, like I said, suspecting that she was probably trying to match the crown. And the crown cosplay continued with Indonesia, of course, also coming out in green and gold. Mauritius, did I really like her gown? I don't know. I think short sleeves on gowns are kind of awkward. I did think the neckline was kind of unique. Puerto Rico came out in this pinky, purple, but mostly silver type of gown. And I'm just like, if you want to go for color, but don't play with color, just adding a little bit and basically have a silver gown. With Spain, I actually loved the bodice on this gown. The skirt, unfortunately, wasn't that impressive. Thailand came out in black, and if you know me, you know how I feel about black gowns on stage, but let me tell you why Thailand's gown worked. Thailand's gown worked because it was detailed, it was gloriously made, it had sparkle everywhere, it had detail, it had something to catch your eye. I do not like it when women come on pageant stages wearing gowns that look like you could wear that gown to a funeral as well. I thought that Thailand was actually gorgeous, stunning, very sophisticated in this gown, and it definitely worked. With Venezuela, I thought that she had a really pretty gown, but I was distracted because on one of her bum cheeks there was like a white thing sticking out that wasn't on the other bum cheek. Like, this gown was sort of see-through, and unfortunately we could see something that I don't think she intended us to see. So after this, the top 5 was announced, and in the top 5 was Brazil, Thailand, Indonesia, Czech Republic, and Venezuela. So at the end of the day, I was very pleased because Thailand, Czech Republic, and Indonesia were all in my top 5. Brazil was just on the outskirts of my top 5, at number 7, I think. So I was very pleased with this top 5 overall. The final Q&A, I was actually shocked by, and I think I have like a weird relationship with MGI, okay? Because I respect that they are willing to go where other pageants are not necessarily willing to go. So with their top 5 Q&A, the question basically came down to each and every contestant must send a message to Vladimir Putin. So if you were to meet Mr. Putin, what would you say to him? And I definitely thought that this was a really interesting thing to ask these women. So with Brazil basically said that we should focus on diplomacy. Again, she also hammered home the fact that there are actual human consequences, which I do appreciate. Indonesia actually answered the question in Indonesia, but she did say something that stuck with me, which is war never has a happy ending. And that's so true. War never has a happy ending for any party because both parties lose valuable humans, they lose lives. Thailand got me because she came in with straight facts and looked into the camera. Imagine it was Vladimir Putin and said, "You kill innocent people," which is true. The Czech Republic actually had the best answer for me. She gave a bit of background. Czech Republic obviously used to be part of the Soviet Union, and she really hammered home, you know, the human consequences of this situation, and at the end of the day asked, "Where is your heart?" I thought that was so powerful. For me, Czech Republic really had the best answer of the evening. As opposed to Venezuela, who After Czech Republic, I really just felt sort of meh about her answer. It was probably the least heartfelt answer. So it was revealed that the next edition of Miss Grand International will be happening in October of next year in Vietnam. So Vietnam will actually be the next host country, which is exciting. And then it was time to announce Best in Evening Gown. Now this was such an awkward moment because as the presenter was, calling out the winner of Best in Evening Gown, which was Mexico, she was nowhere to be found on stage, which, do you know what I think happened? I think like after she didn't make top 10, she just dipped. Like, but they found her eventually. They found her eventually and she took to the stage and accepted the award, but where were you, girl? I know this is an emotional situation, but when you're told to be somewhere, you should listen. Whilst they were on this great hunt for Miss Grand Mexico, all of the members of the top 10 who didn't end up making top 5 were actually crowned 5th runner-up. So there basically is 5 women sharing the 5th runner-up title at Miss Grand this year. And like I said in my prediction video, the top 10 is going to be staying with the Miss Grand International team for a month. And they're going to be traveling around. So I do think that they wanted to do something special to include the top 10. So when it came to the crowning moment, this was actually shocking for me because 4th runner-up ended up being Czech Republic. And guys, granted, all of the women in the top 5 were amazing, but Czech Republic really ended up giving the best answer in the final Q&A, which was her message to Vladimir Putin. I definitely thought that Czech Republic had the best answer. The 3rd runner-up was Venezuela, which I can understand because her final answer wasn't that powerful. The 2nd runner-up was Indonesia. And the final 2 ended up being Thailand and Brazil, which means that I actually got 1 out of 2 of the final 2. And at the end of the day, Miss Grand International 2022 ended up being Brazil, which, you know what? Congratulations. I definitely thought that Brazil had the best anti-war speech. That thing was so brilliantly written. She delivered it beautifully. So I can definitely see how she won. I think that Brazil is a gorgeous woman. She obviously has all the 3 B's required of a Miss Grand International: body, beauty, and brains. I mean, she definitely has brains. I mean, the woman has 1 bachelor's degree in economics and 1 master's degree in finance. So I will definitely be following Brazil's reign as Miss Grand International 2022. She was number 7 for me when I made my official prediction. But when she made that brilliant anti-war speech, my brain was like recalculating. All in all, honestly, I'm very pleasantly surprised by Miss Grand International this year. They didn't do any, there's a tie bullshit like they did last year, or any weird things necessarily on stage, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate that the whole pageant was very, very well constructed and went smoothly. Honestly, if Miss Grand International can just keep themselves out of scandal and try stopping to have beef with other international pageants, it's really funny to me how Miss Grand International whole thing is, stopping war and violence, but they are constantly waging war against other international pageants. If they can just stop that, if they can just focus on doing what they're doing and keep doing it beautifully like they have, then they will make a stand out of me yet. Honestly, I think what makes Miss Grand International so special is they've been around for 10 years and you can truly tell that the people in charge, Mr. Nawat, with all his faults, and he has many, he is very passionate about his organization and it shows. And I truly respect that. So let me know what you guys thought of Miss Grand International 2022. Did you guys watch? If you guys didn't watch and you're waiting for me to post this, then I hope it was sufficient in giving you the too long didn't watch of the competition this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye.